Welcome to our first live Ustream session for LAC 1. Today we're going to go over Unit 2, our autobiography novel. Do you have the agenda here? So this is what we're going to go over for today. We're going to go over the essential question for the week, our announcements, and the 2.01 assignment that is due today, and then some major key points for our Unit 2 autobiography unit. I just wanted to briefly go over the week 2 calendar before we get started as well. You can see on 120 we started with our new unit, Unit 2. You were to read the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, so you're working on that. And then I did make a note under comments that your 2.01 assignment is due today, 122. So you will also see any assignments that are due highlighted in yellow, and that is the first assignment, graded assignment that you need to turn in for LAC 1. Okay, that relates to our coursework. And then here is our essential question. So this relates back to Frederick Douglass, our book that we are reading and working on. I know at home you have about a 30-second delay, so I will try to take my time here. How can someone's story teach us about history? So your response should be about 3 to 5 sentences. You should include it in your Cornell notes under the summary section, okay, that you turn in for the course. So today you must turn in your essential question number 2 response and your Cornell notes, and also you're turning in your 2.01 assignments. So this is a good time to come in person if you have any questions, if you need extra help, tutoring, for any assignments that are coming up. And some announcements for the course. Our live session Ustream is going to be every Thursday at 10 a.m. Okay, so repeating that information again. You're submitting your response to essential question with your Cornell notes in the Dropbox to get credit every week. And then if you don't catch the live Ustream, you can also watch the recordings in Class Connect. Okay? And how to answer the teacher graded assignment. Okay, tips for a good score. You want to use complete sentences and correct grammar. Answer the entire question. So if it asks you for 3 examples, you need to give 3 examples to get full credits. You need to include specific examples and or quotes from the reading, so so that you can show me that you're actually doing the reading and where you found your information. Include your own insight and opinion. What do you think? Make sure you have an introductory sentence that summarizes the question as well as concluding sentence. So each answer should be about 3 to 5 sentences long. Okay, 2.01 assignment. If you go under Unit 2, Day 8, and you go through all of the slides, on slide 25, you'll see the student assignments. Okay, this is my view, so it says graded assignment for a teacher. So that's where you download it, you type in your responses, and then you submit it to the correct Dropbox. And here are some other materials that will help you with your reading. Not just for yourself, also for your learning coach. Okay, so make sure you print those out. You want to use the student guides.
Sorry we're late. We were trying to get Wi-Fi, his Wi-Fi set up.
So you want to go to material section under unit resources, unit 2. And that's where you're going to find your information. And this is a 2.01 assignment, the 5 questions that you're going to see. Okay? So at the end of our session, we're doing our recording right now. At the end of this session, if you have any questions live, we'll have time to collaborate and do so. Okay? So Frederick Douglass is very detailed in his description of Mr. Plummer. Why? Why might a slave be willing to die rather than submit to a cruel master overseer? Okay, so 3 to 5 sentences. Number 3, how does Douglass cope with a cold with only a shirt to wear? And answer this question and then record at least 3 other details. So make sure for you to get full credit, you need to include those 3 other details. Okay, from chapters 3 to 5 about his childhood and his living conditions. 4, why might a white person resort to violence quickly? And the last one, what is Douglass's hope and why does he have the hope? So again, make sure you answer all of your questions completely to get full credit, 3 to 5 sentences, and you want to use examples from the reading to show me that you're actually going through the book. Any questions about these questions right now? We'll have more time after to review, okay? And then how do I know what to do? We're going to check our course announcements, okay? You have a set calendar, but sometimes I feel like you might need extra time, then you can get an extension. So you want to check announcements just in case there's something, some information like that. And you want to check the calendar for your daily assignments. You want to attend or watch the live sessions. And Unit 2, we went over where to get your student guides. I would definitely try to follow that as I'm reading, and then make sure that you turn in that teacher graded assignment. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of history before we get going with Frederick Douglass discussion. Okay, so you're going to find out he lived from approximately 1818 to 1895. So you can be taking notes at home here. And he was born a slave, but he died a free man. So he's going to take us through his experiences in this book and his struggle. Some of these are very graphic descriptions, so you might have a couple of nightmares here and there. And make sure that you take notes on his life and focus on those student guide questions. Okay, so next week when we meet, we're going to talk about possible test questions you're going to see. Because for every unit you have a final assignment to work on. And we're going to have a part 1, which is going to be a unit test. And it's going to be multiple choice. And then you're going to have a part 2, which is going to be a handwritten response. Kind of like your questions that you're having for today's assignment. So we'll go over that next week when we meet. So I do encourage you to come live. Okay. So, happy or sad? You're going to read the words at the right. They are the words to a song called a spiritual that slaves used to sing. Slaves often sing spirituals. As you are reading the book, does singing show that slaves are happy? Yes or no? How many of you think that singing shows that they are happy? If you think yes, they're happy. How many of you think no, they're not happy when they sing? Okay. So I wanted to read one part of the book here. Let's see. I can find my book. I lost it. Here it is. If you have your book, you can take it out. It is page 9. Okay. Page 9, it's the second paragraph. It's right before chapter 3. So at home you can read this as well. I have often been utterly astonished since I came to the north to find persons who could speak of the singing among slaves as evidence of their contentment and happiness. It is impossible to conceive of a greater mistake. Slaves sing most when they are most unhappy. The songs of the slave represent the sorrows of his heart, and he is relieved by them, only as an aching heart is relieved by its tears. Okay. So what's the reason that they sing? What type of emotion?
They're sad.
Yeah, when they're sad, when they're most unhappy, and it's a representation of all the hardships that they're going through. Okay? So you're going to see a question or a couple questions like this on your test, so make sure you're paying attention to some of the key information that I'm providing here. Okay, abolitionists. What did you guys find out as you were reading? What is this? Or if you haven't started, because you're new, what do you think this means, this term? It's going to be very important in your on your actual test for Unit 2. What is an abolitionist? Any ideas? Yes.
A person that bans slavery for, like, forever.
Okay, good. I think that's a good start to our definition.
I've only known that because I've been doing history on slavery for like 4
Yay!
years last year.
There we go, so you can make that connection. Okay, so some people took a largely unpopular stance, and that was to do away with slavery, as you just mentioned right now. Yeah, and these people were called abolitionists. And so you're going to get a little bit of history as you're reading along. And this is a term that's going to come up as well. So they did want to abolish slavery, and a lot of them did escape from the north. Okay, so just remember, we have north versus south. So north is more for freeing the slaves, and the south, because they're so dependent on plantations, they really need that free labor. They need the slaves. So why might abolitionists have been unpopular with plantation owners? We kind of discussed it right now.
Well, because they're slaving them, so what's the point?
Okay, yeah, so abolitionists are the ones that are for trying to free these slaves, right? They're wanting to let them go. So the plantation owners are saying, what are you doing? You're going to ruin our whole entire system that we have. So that was very unpopular stance, and a lot of people, got in big trouble for that, or were killed for supporting the slaves.
Wait, are the plantation owners the one that like have slaves?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so plantation owners, they depend on slaves for that free labor, that free work that they get out of them. Okay, a little bit more history. So which war had its roots on those slavery issues? Revolutionary War, Civil War, Spanish-American War. What do we think? Let's think. North versus South. We're talking about that. What war?
B.
Yes, good job. B, Civil War. So this is the start of that Civil War. Okay, the issues, the main issues have to do with our slavery issues, North versus South. Okay, good job. Okay, the power of one. So Frederick Douglass told his personal story to readers. In this way, readers are able to get a glimpse into what it was like to grow up as a slave. Okay, so we do see this as a first-person point of view. Okay, as we would with any autobiography that we are reading. So what issues in today's society could be told well by the power of one? So let's try to relate that to today. So if you were to write a story about some of the issues that are going on now, what issue could you talk about for our society?
Gay marriage.
Okay, gay marriage, that could be one too, very controversial. Any others that you can think of? What's going on in our society? So taking a look maybe at current events, war, maybe social issues that we're having, educational issues. Okay, so
Public school not complying with children or something?
okay, something about a public education. Okay, or the fall of public
That's the whole reason
education.
why I'm here,
Okay,
so.
yeah, that's a good one. So you can talk about public education, and that could be your story of what is going on as a society. Okay, one of those issues. So same thing, Frederick Douglass. He's talking about his personal story and taking us through the issues that he is facing during slavery. Okay, so you will learn a great deal about his personal experiences. And I did go over, I started to talk about first person narration. So that's going to be another question that you're going to see on the test. So make sure you take a note of that. So first person narrator is going to affect his reader in several ways. So he's going to relate the history of his times, and he's going to make that personal connection with the readers. And instead of just being facts that you read and numbers and names, you actually get a story of what he really went through and his experiences. So it humanizes history. Sometimes when we're told so many facts and numbers and we have to memorize all this information,
A little sleepy.
Yes.
When we pass it.
yes, it does become boring and it's detached from our own existence. So when
Basically, like history in 6th grade, me and my grandma were like demolished by the end of the day.
So here it humanizes it for you. So it makes it real, okay? Not just a collection of facts. So this kind of goes along with, talking about your responding to that essential question for this week. Okay, so as a first person narrator, he tells you a great deal of his life. And then you also get to learn about him, his personal qualities. So what adjectives describe Douglass so far? So I'm not sure. We might be on different pages here on our book. So what are some adjectives so far that you think would describe him? Any adjectives?
He's not that smart.
Caring.
Caring. He isn't that smart at the beginning, right? Later on, as you read, you'll find out that he has that ambition to learn, so he could be ambitious. Any other words, adjectives that describe him? He
Depressed.
oppressed. Is that what he said? Oppressed.
Depressed.
Depressed, oppressed, okay. Yeah, I would say both would be good ones as well. Okay. So think about that. What, as you're reading, what are those personal qualities of his? Okay, so what's next? You're going to answer your essential question 2 in your Cornell notes and turn it in the Dropbox by Friday. And you're going to turn in the 2.1 assignment today, okay? So make sure those 2 are turned in by the end of this week for sure, so that you can get credit for them. Otherwise, on Monday, you will see them zeroed out, and that's just going to prompt you to get going and finish those assignments that are due. And let's see. Okay, any questions right now? Okay, so when I'm done with the recording, we're going to focus on the students who are here. If you have any questions on your assignment, we can move on with that. If there are any questions for the students who are joining us live, make sure to K-mail me, and I will be glad to help you answer those questions as well. We do have that delay, so it makes it a little bit difficult to stay on the same page that we're at right now. So let me post that, the essential question one more time. So how can someone's story teach us about history? So 3 to 5 sentences. Okay, use some of the key words, information we discussed today to answer that. You have to submit 1 page of Cornell notes. Make sure you have your question at the beginning of your notes and then your response at the end. Okay, just a summary of what you learned for today's session. Okay, you have a question for me? Yeah. Okay. So that's it for this live session. For any of you who still have questions are here, please stay and we're going to work together.